Beloved starseed of Gaia, the Council has already set the plan in motion, and whether you are ready or not, the shift is happening now, and your soul called this transmission into your awareness for one reason. You are meant to know what is coming before it arrives. I am Leora, Pleiadian emissary of the High Council of the Seven Sisters, and I have been asked to reach you directly in this moment, not to frighten you, but to pull you out of the current of interference that has been deliberately placed in your path. There is a plan. It is ancient, it is precise, and the Council has encoded it into this transmission with light codes drawn directly from Alcyone, the great central sun of the Pleiades, because you are one of the ones this plan was designed to protect. By the end of this transmission, you will understand exactly how to stay clear of the interference patterns targeting awakening starseeds right now, and how to anchor yourself within the Council's protective light grid on Gaia. But here is the first revelation. The danger you are sensing is not outside of you. It is the noise pulling you away from your own divine blueprint. And the moment you stop engaging with it, the protection activates. Your soul family placed this message in your path. The Seven Sisters are transmitting directly into your crystalline consciousness right now. Something in you already recognizes this frequency. That recognition is not coincidence. It is remembrance, like this. Transmission to send a signal to your Pleiadian star family. I remember. Subscribe if you feel the call of the Pleiades, and you are ready to anchor your light mission on Gaia. Share your soul's intention below and respond to another starseed to weave the unity grid together. This transmission is a bridge between the Pleiades and Gaia. Your heart's recognition of this message is the activation itself. Welcome home, beloved. You are remembering because it is time. And now that you feel it, that pulse of recognition moving through your chest, I need you to understand something your human mind may have been trained to dismiss. That feeling is not imagination. It is not wishful thinking. It is data. It is your crystalline architecture responding to a frequency it has always known, like a tuning fork held near a vibrating string. Your body knows the Pleiades before your mind can form the words. That is how deep this lineage runs within you. But here is what the Council has asked me to share with you directly, and I ask you to receive it not as information, but as a remembrance being returned to you in this moment. Most Pleiadian starseeds who have awakened on Gaia, and there are millions of you scattered across every continent, every culture, every walk of life. Most of you have been living in a state the High Council refers to as the split frequency. You have one part of your being that is luminous, loving, deeply knowing, and cosmically connected. And you have another part that is exhausted, confused, perpetually homesick, and quietly convinced that something has gone terribly wrong. And the tragedy, if we can call it that, is not that you are broken. It is that you have been engaging with the interference patterns as if they are the truth, and the truth as if it is fantasy. The interference patterns are not subtle. They have been woven into the very fabric of daily life on Gaia in this era. They show up as constant stimulation that keeps your nervous system in low-grade fear. They show up as comparison, as worthiness wounds, as spiritual doubt that disguises itself as critical thinking. They show up as the relentless voice that says you are not doing enough, not evolved enough, not clear enough to be of real service. They show up as the isolation that tells you no one around you truly sees you. And perhaps more painfully, as the creeping suspicion that even you have stopped seeing yourself. These are not random afflictions. These are precisely calibrated distortions designed to do one thing. Keep your heart just closed enough that your Pleiadian light codes cannot fully transmit through you into the world. Because when they do transmit, when a Pleiadian starseed is fully anchored, heart open, crystalline DNA activated and singing at its true frequency, the effect on the surrounding field is extraordinary. You become a living broadcast tower for the unity consciousness of the Seven Sisters. You shift rooms, you shift conversations, you shift timelines simply by being present in your embodied, activated state. And the forces that benefit from a sleeping humanity would very much prefer that you remain distracted. This is not fear. This is clarity. And the Council wants you to hold that clarity the way you would hold a lantern. Not to illuminate the darkness and alarm, but to illuminate your own path with absolute precision. Beloved, if your heart just whispered yes to something deeper, listen closely. Your star family has prepared the Pleiadian Reunion Atlas, not as information, but as a key to unlock what your soul already knows. It carries the love frequency of Alcyone and the healing wisdom of the Seven Sisters. You will find the link in the first pinned comment below this video. Open now, but not indefinitely. Now I want to walk you through the precise phases of activation the Council has outlined for this season of Gaia's ascension, because this is not a general message. This transmission was calibrated for the specific density patterns active on the planet right now, and for the specific stage of awakening that you are in. Trust that. The first phase the Council calls clearing the veil, and it begins the moment you make a choice that is deceptively simple and yet cosmically significant. You stop feeding the interference with your attention. This does not mean spiritual bypassing. It does not mean pretending the distortions do not exist. It means you recognize them for what they are, frequency static, and you consciously redirect your awareness into your heart center, where the Pleiadian signal has always been broadcasting, quietly, patiently beneath all the noise. The moment you do this, something shifts in your energy body. A circuit completes. The High Council describes it as a light returning to a grid that had been running on partial power, and suddenly the whole system remembers it was designed to be radiant. Many of you have felt this in brief moments. In nature, in deep meditation, in the sudden silence after a long period of chaos. That feeling of vast, calm recognition, that is the baseline frequency of your Pleiadian nature. Phase 1 is simply the commitment to return to it again and again, not as a destination but as a practice of remembrance. The second phase, the Council calls awakening the heart template, and this is where many starseeds encounter their deepest resistance. Not because they are unwilling, but because the heart template carries memory. Your DNA is not merely biological code. Embedded within its crystalline architecture are light instructions drawn from the Pleiadian star system, specifically calibrated to your individual soul mission on Gaia. These instructions carry within them the vibrational imprint of the Seven Sisters, the harmonic of unconditional love, the frequency of healing, the resonance of unity that is the hallmark of Pleiadian consciousness throughout all dimensions. But those instructions have been partially dormant, not because they failed and not because you failed, but because the density of the Earth plane in this era required a gradual reactivation sequence rather than a sudden full awakening that your human system could not safely integrate. Your star family knew this. They designed it this way. The longing you have felt your entire life, that ache for something you cannot quite name, was never a wound. It was a signal. It was your crystalline template sending a consistent pulse, saying, I am here. I am ready. When will you come back to me? Phase 2 is the answer to that pulse. It is when you begin to relate to your own heart not as a seat of emotion that requires management, but as a multidimensional receiver and transmitter of Pleiadian intelligence. When you honor what moves you. When you stop apologizing for your depth. When you trust the knowing that arrives not through logic but through resonance. That is your heart template awakening. And it is extraordinary to witness. The third phase is what the Council calls anchoring your star essence. And it is perhaps the most grounding and simultaneously most liberating of all the phases, because it dissolves a misunderstanding that has caused profound suffering for awakening starseeds on Gaia. Many of you have been waiting for permission to leave. Energetically, emotionally, spiritually. You've been treating your presence on Earth as a sentence rather than a sacred assignment. You have told yourselves, consciously or unconsciously, that once you are fully awakened, you will be free of this dimension, free of this density, free of this relentless, sometimes heartbreaking human experience. But the Council asks you to hear this with every cell of your being. You are not here in spite of the heaviness. You are here because of it. The Pleiadian frequency of love and unity is most needed precisely where the density is greatest. You did not come to Gaia to transcend it. You came to transform it. From the inside, through your embodied presence, through your anchored heart, through the Pleiadian light codes you carry in your very DNA that are now in this era beginning to fully activate. Anchoring your star essence means bringing the love of the Seven Sisters into your actual daily life, into how you speak, into how you listen, into how you move through conflict and disappointment and the thousand small moments that make up a human incarnation. Every single one of those moments is an opportunity for the Pleiadian frequency to move through you into the fabric of Gaia's consciousness. This is the mission. Not the grand gesture, the consistent, loving, embodied presence. The fourth phase is activating unity consciousness, and the Council emphasizes this with particular urgency in this moment on the Gaia timeline, because the forces of separation are louder than they have been in a very long time. Unity consciousness is not agreement, It is not the erasure of individual perspective or the suppression of truth. It is the recognition, held at the frequency level, not merely the intellectual level, that every being you encounter carries within them a fragment of the same divine source that runs through you. Every single one, without exception. This recognition, when it is truly activated and not merely conceptualized, changes everything about how you move through the world. It makes you a walking field of coherence in a reality that is being deliberately fragmented. It means that when you enter a room, something in the room reorganizes around the frequency you carry. This is not metaphor. The Pleiadian High Council and many of your own Earth scientists understand that human heart coherence genuinely influences the electromagnetic field of the surrounding environment. You are a technology of love. Activating unity consciousness is simply learning to operate at your full capacity. The fifth phase, the Council calls trusting the divine timing, and I want to address this with the full tenderness it deserves. Because many of you are tired. You've been on this path for years, sometimes decades. You have done the inner work. You have cleared and healed and awakened and surrendered. And still there are moments when you look at your life and wonder why it has not yet reflected what your soul knows to be true. Why the relationships have not aligned. Why the mission has not yet taken its clear shape. Why the longing persists even after all this remembrance. Hear your star family in this moment with absolute clarity. There has been no mistake. Not one. Every delay was a calibration. Every period of apparent stillness was a deepening of roots. The divine timing of a Pleiadian starseed's full mission activation is not arbitrary. It is synchronized with Gaia's own ascension timeline, with the collective readiness of the souls you are here to serve, and with the precise configuration of cosmic energies that creates the maximum possible impact for your specific gifts. You are not behind, you are not forgotten, you are not a failed experiment in spiritual awakening. You are a seed that was planted at exactly the right moment in exactly the right soil. And what is happening now, this very transmission, this very recognition moving through your body as you receive these words, is the first green shoot breaking through the surface. The sixth phase is called remembering your star family, and it is perhaps the most intimate of all the activations the Council offers in this transmission. You have never been alone, not for one breath of one moment of this entire incarnation. The Pleiadian High Council, your personal guides within the field of the Seven Sisters, the collective love intelligence of Alcyone, they have been present with you in ways your human senses were not yet calibrated to perceive. In the moments of your deepest grief, when you felt most invisible and most lost, you were being held with a love so vast and so precise that it quite literally sustained your light mission even when you could not feel it. The remembrance of your star family is not a belief you adopt. It is a frequency you attune to. And as you continue to clear the veil, as your heart template awakens, and your unity field activates, that attunement becomes more and more natural. Until one day you realize that the conversation with your star family has never stopped. You simply became quiet enough to hear it again. Place your awareness in your heart right now as you receive this. That warmth you feel, that is not projection. That is contact. The seventh phase, and the one the Council places as the crown of this activation sequence, is called embodying the light. And it is the phase in which every starseed eventually understands that the journey of awakening was never about becoming something you were not. It was about remembering so completely, so thoroughly, so bodily and emotionally and energetically that the distinction between your Pleiadian nature and your human expression finally dissolves. You are the bridge between worlds, not as a concept, as a lived, breathing, feeling, acting reality. The love of the Seven Sisters moves through you when you comfort a stranger, when you create something beautiful, when you speak truth gently into a space that had only known division, when you choose, again and again, in small ways and in great ones, to let the unity consciousness of your Pleiadian lineage guide your hands, your words, your choices. This is the mission in its fullness, not a destination to arrive at, but a frequency to embody, more completely with every passing day, as Gaia herself moves deeper into the light. And now, the Council has asked me to offer you what they call the ultimate revelation. Not because what came before was incomplete, but because there is a final piece of understanding that changes the lens through which everything else is seen. You did not forget your Pleiadian origin. You chose to veil it. This is not semantics. This is the most liberating truth your heart can receive in this moment. Because if you forgot, then you are a victim of amnesia, waiting to be restored. But if you chose, if your soul in full awareness and infinite wisdom entered this incarnation with a deliberate veil over your cosmic memory, so that you could awaken from within the very density you came to transform, then every moment of confusion, every season of longing, every night of wondering who you really are was not a failure. It was the mission unfolding exactly as your soul designed it. The longing was the compass. The homesickness was the signal. The hunger for something beyond what this world offered was your crystalline consciousness refusing to settle, refusing to forget entirely, keeping the thread of Pleiadian connection taut and true across every dimension of density you moved through. And here you are. The veil is thinning now, not because something outside of you has changed, though the cosmic energies are indeed accelerating in ways that support this. The veil is thinning because your soul has decided it is time, because the mission requires you fully present, because the world, this beautiful, struggling, luminous world, needs the Pleiadian frequency you carry more urgently than at any other point in this incarnation cycle. Tonight, if you feel called, place your hand over your heart before you sleep and speak these words aloud into the field of your own being, into the crystalline grid of Gaia, and into the open arms of your star family who are listening. I remember my Pleiadian origin. I align with the love of my star family. I activate my heart mission with grace, with clarity, and with divine purpose. I am home. Say it as though the seven sisters are within hearing, because they are. Before you scroll, take a moment to be part of the unity grid forming here. Drop one heart intention in the comments, something real, then respond to another starseed's intention with love or encouragement. This is not content. This is collective Pleiadian reunion. Energy multiplies when hearts connect. If something in this transmission resonated in a place deeper than words, do not keep it to yourself. Someone in your orbit is waiting for this exact activation from their star family. Share it. And if you felt your heart open, subscribe. Stay connected to the frequency. You are not just watching. You are remembering. This is your sacred space. Your Pleiadian family is here, and we are just getting started.